Hey everybody, it's me, Andrew Grapsis, Dungeon Master for the Devastations, a 5e Dungeons & Dragons campaign. And before we get to the video of the first session that we've posted on Twitch, I'd really like to discuss what's happening and where this campaign is. So cheers. This is our 38th session. This recording represents that 38th session. So the characters already know each other. They already have their rapport. Some of the characters have been with the party longer than others, Lucius, and others have been there from the start and have played every single session. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy between some of the levels, but the average party level at this point is level 8. So they're pretty powerful. They understand each other. They understand their powers, their interactions, their capacity, and generally their role inside of the party. At this point, when we meet the party, they're actually performing another mission. So, kind of taking it back a little bit, due to a series of circumstances that we'll talk about another time, the players found themselves on a Yeleth Imperial warship, and they had been pressed into service. So they were on a vessel, a pirate ship, no less, and they had found themselves under the guns of this warship, and the warship had a mysterious disease affecting the crew members. And so the medical services of Dimitri and the physical capacity of the party were pressed into service on this warship. So they were forced to work on this warship. And again, through a series of events, the ship ended up sinking in this magical hurricane. And this magical hurricane ended up kind of bringing to the party to this perpetual storm. And in the eye of this perpetual storm is a series of magical islands. And the islands form rings that lead to a central tower. So the islands themselves are chains that are kind of connected to one another. Maybe there's a little channel to get through. But they're mostly like, you can kind of think of the Bikini Islands, almost like a series of Bikini Islands inside of one another. Players are going from island to island, performing these island hops, sometimes being able to bring the ship they had with them, other times having to improvise. And each island represents some type of elemental or other force that they have to face. So the first island was the undead. The island they're currently working on, the second island, represents fire. So on each island, they're presented with a series of challenges. There are monsters that they have to work through, whether they're going to engage them in battle, go around them, or trick them in some way. And once they get into kind of the solid central keep and the central experience, whatever it is, there's some champion whom is cursed and reflects the nature of the island. So on the first, we had an undead king, and he had betrayed some mage who had created this magical storm. And we'll get into the details of that when we're actually playing, and you'll see it all come together. Some of that has already been explored in the story, so I'll probably post another recap video for it. But nevertheless, on each island, one of the players essentially has to take a precious stone from the king of that island, the cursed king, and embed it physically in their skull, and then it changes some attributes about the player. So right now, Solbaya, the youngest party member, 17 years old, has a giant piece of obsidian, actually a couple of pieces of obsidian, hanging out right on his skull, embedded. He can't remove it. You can't remove this curse. You can't take out these pieces, and it's changed the attributes of his character. At the moment of the beginning of this session, the players are actually engaged in combat inside of a holdfast on that fire island. And they've been facing all sorts of fire beasts, whether we're talking about giants, fire giants, or magmins, or any other kind of fire beast that I found in and felt appropriate for their level. So at the moment where we begin, Isilme has kicked in the door of the kitchen. There were all these little magma methods. She basically slaughtered them. And then the group had kind of from multiple strike points entered into this cafeteria dining hall where there were a whole variety of fire-based creatures, and just started assaulting them and devastating them, absolutely surprising them and pulling them apart and just wrecking them. And so we actually begin in combat. And that's as much as kind of the backstory as I'll give about where we're beginning. So I hope you enjoyed this session. There are going to be a lot more. We've been playing D&D for a long time, and it finally feels right for us to broadcast this out there. Whether you're one of our friends watching this, one of the players trying to catch up with the session you missed, or some odd, crazy internet person who actually just wants to watch a bunch of strangers play D&D, we're really happy to have you and really appreciative, and thanks for watching. Cheers. This is just water. Anywho, all right, so when last we left off, we were inside of this super cool tower that was built by dwarves. Of course, our dwarf wasn't in that session, Scorny Face, right?
Right.
Yeah, I missed the beginning.
Yeah.
No, we went through. I was there when we got to. We had those fiery assholes, and we entered a building, and then I don't know what happened.
Oh, we're good. So anyway, everybody was fighting in a cafeteria. If you recall, we were fighting in a cafeteria, and you were decided to attack from multiple different vectors simultaneously. Isilme lovingly murdered the chef, or chefs, who were all tiny little mephits, little magma mephits.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then everybody else burst into this room where it was basically like the cantina. Everybody was just kind of having brunch, hanging out, eating their magma or whatever they eat. And I think Eladin decided to try lighting them on fire. I don't know. That's just like the story of Eladin's life. No, Eladin didn't. Okay.
Fire.
Fuck them with lightning.
Sure. Lightning and fire. That's a good combination.
I definitely told this that you're talking about right now.
Okay. So all of this being said, so you recall we stopped in the middle of combat.
Aye.
Right? So we're picking up in that combat. But nobody's going to roll for initiative. Because what happens is you burst into this room. Eladin is sending lightning from his fingertips, blowing apart pieces of magma creatures. Isilme is basically walking out of the kitchen, covered in the gore of all the cute little mephits that she murdered. And as you're all coalescing into this area to basically stomp the last of these poor creatures who you completely surprised while they were downing their brunch, the world kind of takes on this momentary sheen, and it catches everybody off kilter. And you're all looking at this, and even the mephits around you, and the magmins, and all of the creatures that you are fighting, they stop momentarily too. Like a baguette falls, a coffee's overturned, and the world takes on this weird gelatinous kind of translucence. It's almost as if somebody's pulled like a patch of gel over your face, and then there's this loud ringing sound, and it just kind of burrows into your skull as if somebody's kind of piercing it with some type of sharp object. And everything just grows hazy, and you kind of feel your body almost being pulled apart. It's excruciatingly painful, and there's a bright flash of light. And as the light recedes, there's still that gelatinous haze, and it kind of sloshes off you, and you recognize that your body is covered in this horrible jello substance, and you're in a very tall cylindrical room. There are stones buzzing all around you, flying through the air, and these crystals that are glowing intensely, and then the crystals basically explode. They just kind of explode and into ash. And the ash covers you, so you're covered in this horrible, sticky jello, and then covered in ash. And it's this large stone room. There's a single door across the way. You're all poised as if you're still fighting, and you're now in this still brightly lit room. There's other crystals embedded in the side that are glowing blue, and there's a buzzing all around you as the stones kind of settle, and they settle in a perfect circle around you, glowing with runes of power. And Eladin, your heart skips a beat as you recognize this room. and you recognize it as the teleportation room in the College of Hidden Letters. Immediately, your arms begin to burn. And looking down, you see a tattoo blazoned on your arm. Pure black ink of a root, almost like the roots of a tree, worming across your arms. And it blazons as you look at it and just flies across in black ink. Give you a moment to absorb that.
So out of character, at a college party exactly like this.
Where do you think I got the inspiration?
Oh, yeah.
So, I haven't been to this place in several years, right?
It's been a few, yeah. But you recognize this room. You recognize it, and it's not a room you spent a lot of time in, but you've passed by it, you've heard talk of it, and you maybe have seen like the door open once and seen into it.
Is everybody else there with me?
All the players, all of our characters have come forth. The party is not separated.
That is good.
What the fuck is this place?
So, you remember how I went to wizard school and like I was the top of my class and I was so good at everything?
So
Are you
you
sure
say.
you went there? I mean, really, for all the stuff you've done, I would think that if you got admitted by any random chance, they would have kicked you out after 2 weeks.
I mean, look, man, just, okay.
There's a moment as Eladin's beard kind of like lifts up and like then goes completely slack, as if to be like,
That's how Eladin feels too. So this thing on my arm, it's new, right?
yeah, you didn't have this tattoo before.
Okay. Is it still like moving?
No, it's settled into place.
Okay.
And this is on everybody's arm. Everybody's arm now has a tattoo blazoned on it. It's not just Eladin.
Are they matching tattoos?
They are matching.
Oh, sweet. Guys, we're like tattoo brothers.
Which arm?
Your right arm. Kind of like this, except imagine roots.
Fair. Okay, so in this,
Well-
what do we got in this room?
Did you say what's in the room?
Yeah.
You give me an investigation and an arcana. Simultaneous.
I am good at both of those things. 27 for Arcana, 21 for Investigation.
Excellent. Yeah, looking around the room, you see that obviously this is a portal room, and this is a permanent portal. But it's not a portal that is meant to be like a gateway between two places. It's actually a very specific portal used to summon people without needing their will. So you can summon people against their will, and it is a temporary summon.
Important question. Does the kitten also have a tattoo?
Yes, but it is concealed by her fur. And it is
That's
appropriately
that's
tiny.
both adorable and terrifying.
Eladin, you also know that you see these stones, and you see that basically they've been entirely drained of their charge, and you know that it cost a fortune to get the crystals that were required in order to make this summoning happen.
So, all right, I got some news, people. We were brought here intentionally. Somebody really wants us to be here. And based on the last time I was here, it's probably not a good thing.
Well, as long as they don't put us back where we came from.
That might also happen.
I don't know much about you guys, but I have a history of not being allowed to go back where it came from. It didn't end in pleasant terms, and it probably wouldn't end in pleasant terms for me. Can we assume that's the same situation for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
That is fair. I know the feeling as well.
Lucas, you might not know this, but I was expelled from my wizard college. I think everybody else knows this by now. But our best bet's probably going to be to try and get out of here without interacting with anybody.
So, Stephen, no, you did not get an opportunity to rest or heal during this magical journey through the portal.
No, it was more. It was more through the magical journey when I was on holiday, and you guys played one more time.
Oh, I see. No healing, no resting. All right. So as you're debating the finer metaphysics of what to do, the door on the far wall opens, and in kind of solemnly marches a furbolg. He is about 6'2", looks really built and physically fit, but he's under wizard's robes. Around his neck is a large silver chain that has a key on it, a very beautiful, ornate silver key. He has a wizard's staff, and it's made out of all this gnarled wood, and there are tiny little buds all over it. And the buds actually, as he's walking, begin to like open, bloom, and then kind of close, die off, fall, and as they fall, vanish, and then repeat the cycle. Just spontaneously and randomly. And there's like little vines that are almost worming their way up and then worming their way back down. He has a belt that's clearly heavy with components, so clearly some type of wizard. And he's wearing black scale armor underneath his cloak, as if he's ready for battle, and he has a very somber face on. I mean, he has like the classic red nose and the pointy ears of a furbolg, and his hands are behind him, and his shoulders are nice and straight. Or, well, one hand has to be in front of him. He has a wizard staff, and he kind of walks in. He says, "Welcome to the College of Hidden Letters. I'm very happy to have you here, and everything will be explained, I promise. But to begin with, you may want to get rid of the gel. I hear that if you keep it on for too long, it is a skin irritant, and you might feel like you're on fire all over your body." And he kind of like snaps his fingers, and these little orbs descend from up above with towels to wipe you off.
Yeah, we all dry off collectively.
Isilme, your cat is covered in gel too.
Okay, I'll grab a towel for myself and the cat.
Elodin, it's already starting to itch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I dry myself too.
I suppose
Dry
I'm
my armor, basically more than me.
Yeah.
So
does he
Baya,
throw
do you
the
need,
armor?
What's up?
so Baya, do you need someone to get your back?
No thanks.
And I
I can do
just
it
gotta
myself.
like hold it. All right, if you need a hand, and I'm doing like the shoulders, you know.
The furbolg has kind of like a very sly smile on his face, and he says, "I am Melagul, the assistant dean here at the college." And he looks at Elodin and he says, "I did not have the pleasure of being at the school while you were here, but I've heard very interesting stories."
Thank you, and I take like a deep bow.
I don't think they're the type of stories you want to take a bow to, but play it by ear maybe.
Okay.
The dean would really like to see you. And he lets those last words drop.
Just him or all of us?
You, and he gestures at the whole party.
The dean being what's his name again? Do I remember?
Kost Vine.
Oh, that's not good.
He is now in charge of the entire university.
Oh, is there any way we could like not do that?
I'm very sorry to say, but no, it is impossible. This is why you are brought here, to talk to Kost. And then he kind of like is searching for the words because Common's not his main language, and he says to do his bidding. His bidding. This is right. Yes.
No, it's wrong.
Is he hiring us? Is that what language does he speak?
He speaks Elvish.
All right, I try Elvish.
You can kind of tell by his accent. There's a little tinge to it, but it's not like Elvish is his main language either. Furbolgs are kind of these unique creatures that believe that words aren't super necessary.
Yeah. Well, I would not care to start an altercation of sorts here.
There's no need for altercation. Just listen to what Kost has to say. Sorry, Dean Vine. He does not like when I call him Kost, because this guy's friendly. He's somewhat friendly towards you, but he's also still like there's a little air of kind of like he'll make you go if you have to.
Can you promise me and my compatriots here safe passage?
I mean, I think safety is yes. Safety is it's up to you in the sense that I mean, we're not going to hurt you here, right? we're all friends, you know. It's
See, no, wrong. I mean, we might be friends. I like you, but me and Kosti are not super close.
he kind of shrugs. He's like, listen, just listen to what Dean Van has to say. He's not a bad guy.
In Elvish, I just kind of go, fuck it. I kind of like this guy.
I mean, yeah, screw it. I always wanted to go back to school, get a master's, that kind of thing.
I'm not so certain they're going to be admitting you again, but come here, and he kind of like gestures for you all to follow him and begins walking out.
I start following him. I start following him and start asking him questions like, "So, how much do you bench? Like 240? You know, like it's like, what do you curl? You know, you're looking swell here."
Well, where I come from, it's very very common to pick up large rocks, and it's a coming of age tradition to pick up the rocks and to really lift them and to prove yourself. So I don't know how many stones the boulders weigh, but they're substantial.
One.
I can tell you're looking good, man. You got to get me on that stone routine.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe after this, you won't have time because you'll have become a gelatinous cube. But maybe if you finish everything that the dean wants early, I don't know. I'll let him speak to it.
I mean, come on, man. I put on some weight, but not that much.
All right, so you're
So while they're having that conversation, like I'm sort of hanging back, and I like go over to Fleos, and I'm like, "So man, we were in the middle of something, and we're about to go do some crazy shit. Did they know what they interrupted? Do we know what they were interrupted? Are they gonna like put us back in the shit? What's your take on this?" Wait, is
Corey not there?
Is Corey not here? Oh, okay.
I see his smiling face. I don't see his smiling face.
Yeah, okay. So I would go over. I would hang back to people not talking about bench pressing and shit.
That's probably wise.
Yeah,
I'm hanging back.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm leading
Captain.
here, and I kind of put my hands back, like stay a few steps behind me.
Perfect. Yeah. So
yeah. So I'm in the back, being like, "Hey, so what's our play, Captain?"
Andrew, are there windows in this room we just came in?
So that room had no windows at all. The ceiling kind of went up about 60 feet to, a dome with all sorts of runes all over it that were glowing brightly, but there were no windows. There were no other points of egress or entry at all.
Okay. Pronounce for me the city's name that the university's in. I don't want to mess this up.
Okay. Sorry, my mouse just went to sleep. I don't have it open. Just phonetically pronounce it.
Is it Skaldanar?
Skaldanar? Yeah, Skaldanar. There we go.
That's the city we're in, yeah?
Yeah. I have it somewhere in these notes.
Okay. Sorry, long way around. So when Dimitri starts talking to me about that, I'm kind of nodding along. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck magic shit just happened, but we need to get out of this university, especially if we're actually in Skaldanar.
Yeah, and you do see Skaldanar proper. So as you leave this room, you're not like walking through some type of horribly, dark corridors or anything like that. It's actually very open and bright because the school itself is built with many, many towers. And those many towers allow a lot of access to, not just the outside world, but interior courtyards. And so you walk by large windows in the hallways themselves, open corridors almost that have these very high drop-offs. And you can see the city proper, and you see the sprawling city of Skaldanar nearby. There's a lot of lazy smoke coming out of smokestacks. It's twilight. And the thing to know about Skaldanar is that it's always twilight in Skaldanar. It's magically created so that it's basically always shifting between night and day, and the night cycle is very short. Yeah. So you see that. You see Skaldanar proper there. It's outside, so the city walls don't immediately enter Skuldnar. There's like almost like a no man's zone of cobblestone all around the walls, and the city butts up against that cobblestone.
So Melgol, how long have you been working for the dean now?
Melagul.
Melgul, yeah. I'm so sorry.
I came only 3 years ago, I think it was. After the dean's how should I put this? His accident.
Yes.
And he kind of gives you the eyes, and you feel your beard kind of like walk up your shoulder and sit there, kind of like a little like trying to like nestle into you. Like it's a little intimidated right now.
How has he been since then?
Well, the repercussions of what happened stay with him to this day. I'm not sure you're aware of what you did exactly. And he leaves it at that.
I am just very quiet and stiff now.
So you walk down this exterior kind of corridor and then turn to an interior one, and you're entering the oldest portion and the oldest tower in the school itself. And you go up these winding stairs, and there are large windows. Again, nothing's closed off about this. It's almost as if it wasn't built to be protected, as if it has so much confidence in itself and its abilities that it doesn't need crenellations. And you go up these long stairs and eventually get to this corridor where there's a large door made out of black oak. And he knocks, and it has this bulbous boom, boom, boom sound when he knocks. And he looks back at you, and the doors just magically open, completely silently, inward. And it reveals a room with polished black marble floors. Sorry, I have to scroll down. Polished black marble floors. The curtains are pulled really tight. There's no light entering from the exterior world. There are bits of bone everywhere, creatures in jars, organs. There's a long desk towards the middle of the room, and kind of coming off of it is this large glass tube, and you see just a blizzard inside the tube with thunder and lightning quietly exploding inside of it. So yes, that'd be thunder snow for those who are wondering. Thunder snow. The desk is covered in books, and they're open. They have bookmarks all over them. Very thick tomes with very delicate writing on the side. Eladin, you recognize it as all the books, most of the books in the library that's beneath the school are written in a special language that only the wizards know. It's like an encoded shorthand. Even the spines of the book have that encoding on it. So Eladin, you can read it, but nobody else can. You'd have to have attended the school.
And is Dean Pine in the room?
Yes, he is. He is standing ominously behind his desk. He's wearing thick black robes. His face has scars going from about here, affecting his scalp and his hairline, going across his eye, and his eye kind of has that like droopy, melted quality to it. Goes down to his face, and there's a large patch that's beardless, and the other half has just some stubble. His skin is very, very pale white. He's just immediately scolding. His face is just scowling. He's immediately scowling as soon as Eladin enters the room. He uncomfortably touches the portion of his face that is entirely covered in these burn marks. He kind of speaks quietly, but with this gristly, growly voice, which, Eladin, you recall that he had a baritone to begin with, but it didn't have this gravelly quality to it. And he says, "I see you've picked up a familiar, Eladin."
I suppose that is one way to call it. And I give a little bow and I say, Dean Vine.
So, it comes to this then, does it? And he kind of regards the entire party, and Meligul takes like a position towards the side, kind of a little bit off, not really next to the desk, not really blocking your exit from the room, nothing like that, just off to the side, a little bit more in the shadows, almost knowing his place. It's the dean's moment. The dean kind of picks up this large mug off of his desk, and he takes a big draw.
World's best dean.
And as he takes the draw, you see all of the scarring kind of heal just ever so slightly. The redness, because there's almost this raw redness as if the flames had recently happened, recedes, and it becomes a much older looking wound. And some of the stubble kind of moves back through the wounds again. And his voice is just a hint less gravelly.
So, Dean Vine, I know you do not want me here. So why is it that you've summoned us?
If I didn't want you here, Eladin, I wouldn't have summoned you. You recently saw a certain graduate of this school, one who has a far superior history to your own. And he kind of sighs yet again. He says, Eladin, what a disappointment you are. What a loser you have been these years since you left the university.
Kind of like this guy.
And he says, you recently crossed paths with Higsby, did you not?
Eladin averts his gaze and looks down and just nods silently.
I just kind of touch my hat, like I have no idea what he's talking about.
Higsby last reported you on the Gladiator with him, with these fellows, and he gestures towards your party. He spoke a little bit of your predicament, but the messages stopped. There are two parts to this. First, I need to know what happened to Higsby.
Higsby was killed by a kraken. Or a barnacle?
Barnacle.
A really, really nasty barnacle.
He was killed. And
Yeah,
Barnacle of usual size.
you are alive.
I tried to save him. But like you said, he was the more talented of us two.
He kind of touches his desk, supporting his weight a little bit. He says, what a disappointment. What a disappointment. And you see the little flames trickle across his skin. And the wound kind of begins rematerializing and turning red again. Almost as if his emotions have weakened his immune system a little bit. And he looks at your party and he says, what a mix of half-breeds and lesser races. I can't believe it's come to this.
Go screw.
What are you calling lesser?
I kind of interject, and I'll just be... Excuse me. Lucius Marisalvis, champion of the Yelleth fighting pits, destroyer of sea beasts, slayer of giants. We killed this barnacle that killed your young pupil, and I took it upon myself to avenge his death. There's no need for name calling. I understand you have some background with this one, and I kind of just point over to Eladin. That is not my concern. You seem to have some issue, and I've seemed to have the disposition to go down to the Eloisa history and make a name for myself. So if you have some reason you brought us here, perhaps you would like to bestow that information upon us. Otherwise, I seem that this is just a waste of our time.
Otherwise, we're happy to leave and go into town.
The half-breeds cut to the point. Fine, then. Fine.
She does.
Face is in my hands like, oh god, this is not going to be good.
Without Higsby reporting to me and available, Eladin, it's about time you paid your debts to this school.
Was exile not enough?
No, it is not. Not for what you have done.
So if this is just about Eladin, can we leave?
I think you'll have an interest in this, Eladin. Beyond paying your debts, there's something that you'll want to do about this for your own personal reasons. As for the rest of you, I assume, and he kind of cringes, gold will be enough motivation.
Well, maybe if you add some extra gemstones to the gold.
That could be arranged. From you, dwarf.
Hi.
I understand your fascination. We have gems aplenty. They could be acquired. Gems and gold, then.
A knighthood.
Wait, do you really say that? And knighthood?
Yeah. Yeah.
He laughs. I mean, it's just...
Information.
Information. We can give you access to our scries. They can look into what it is you want.
Okay.
There's plenty that can be had.
Is there a chance to do good?
Is there a chance to do good? Well, you would be helping the school, and the school helps the world. Without us as a bastion of knowledge, there would only be darkness.
Hey, Grapsis.
What's up?
DM
I
question.
take that with a grain of salt.
Sorry.
As the token human of the group.
Hey, I'm human too.
True.
Yeah, there's a bunch of humans. Anyway,
I think it's just me and him.
There's two.
Yeah, it's me and Solbaya, and that's it.
so far as well, now that we're all on D&D Beyond, you guys know, but so far as the rest of you know, I'm human.
Assume knew.
No,
There was like a
told
little
you that I was
exchange.
human. Assume guessed, and I said that I was human in that Facebook chat way back when.
Okay.
Yes,
Um,
Fleos, whether you believe it or not, will staunchly indicate that he is human.
Of course you would.
Okay then.
Yeah, that's
Did you had a question
I
though,
was
right?
unaware. Of
Yeah,
it.
I do have a question. Yes. Do I know where we are?
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, would I be familiar with this place? Like, would Fleos be familiar with this place?
You're familiar in the sense that you know of it. You've definitely traveled through it. You may even have, had some interactions with the school itself, especially in trade, because they trade in many things. They craft items of magical origin. They also perform magical functions for a variety of groups, be they, nobles or whatnot. They're also completely neutral in the world. They're one of the only allowed neutral spaces, if you will. So everybody's trades with them. Everybody sends their individuals to be initiated in the magical arts here, especially people who have money and can afford it. Mm-hmm. So you would definitely know of it.
Okay.
It's in the region known as Tuxcomun.
Okay.
Which a couple of the characters
That's
are
what
intimate.
I thought. I wasn't sure if because Fleos showed up inside of this place in a random room.
Yeah.
So
Fleos wouldn't know the layout, right?
Yeah.
But Fleos would know of the initiates and the acolytes of the school, would have probably done business with them before in the past.
Right. Okay. And then what was the pronunciation of the dean's name again? Vines?
Vine. Dean Vine.
Vine.
Cost Vine.
Cost. I've guessed.
Yes. All right. That was it. Thank you.
Excellent. Was there another question from somebody else?
I have one more demand for helping you solve whatever problem you are stuck on.
Yes.
When we do solve whatever problem it is, and we will, when people ask, you'll say a group of Mongols and half-breeds had to help you solve a problem that you couldn't do on your own.
I think we'll pay you enough that you'll think that this never happened, and that the rest of the world will never know about it.
Not without a knighthood, you don't.
He just kind of looks at you like you're petulant. Like as if he was looking at a child.
He used to stand stock still as he was ordered to by the captain.
I didn't. I just told you to pay attention.
To be at attention.
So what is this path that you have set before us?
Well, Eladin, I know you never spent much time in the stacks,
True.
preferring to spend your hours with your friends and on the streets, as it were. But recently, and he kind of looks at Molagul? Sorry, I have to keep
Molagul.
Melagul. And he says, and he kind of looks at Melagul, and Melagul goes and closes the doors behind you because they've been open. Recently, initiates and acolytes have gone missing in the stacks, and you know that this is like, so what? They go missing all the time. The stacks claim lives. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. So, initiates and acolytes have gone missing in the stacks. More than, and he kind of frowns, is usual for this time of year. A few dozen. And it seems like it's paining him to admit this. And a few postgraduate fellows as well. I'm sure you'll remember Gron Stikov.
Say that again? You dropped it.
I'm sure you'll remember Gron Stikov.
I kind of like look resigned. I'm like, wait, he's still here?
He's become a fellow of the university working towards his professorship.
And he's gone missing.
He's not the only one.
Who else?
Well, before Gron went missing, we declared the stacks dangerous after the 20th or so initiate went missing. And you could see this is really something he doesn't want to be admitting. Like, this is a flaw. This is a problem. They haven't responded to this problem.
And why is it that you haven't done anything about it yet?
Have you tried teleporting them against their will?
What makes you think we haven't done anything about it? And he looks at you, Solbaya. The teleporter only works.
What?
Only works outside of the university. And it doesn't work on those who can't be found. The library is not exactly a place of this plane. And it only works on this plane. He looks back at Eladin and he says, Gron went in to find those who had been missing. Against my hesitations. And he too went missing. And when he went missing, we barred all others from search. And he kind of frowns even deeper. And he says words that are going to kind of stick with you, I think, for the rest of your life. And he says, someone else went in after Gron. Someone went searching for him. Sithu Muzold.
I immediately start to walk towards the door, towards the stack.
The door is barred. The door to the library. No one can enter.
Open it.
It's not that
What the
easy.
fuck is going on?
Sithu went in. I don't know how. No one knows how. 3 days ago. And she's not come back out.
So, get me and my compatriots here in. We'll get everybody out. And then we're square.
If I knew how to get into the stacks, then I'd be sending what remains of the professorship in to find them. But as it were, Higsby wrote somewhat colorfully about you and your friends. As if maybe you could get something like this done. So it falls to you. Melagul will assist you in any way he can. But you need to do this quietly. I don't want a part of the university burned down, for instance.
I will do my best.
Melagul, you can show them to Sithu's room. She was the last one to go into the stacks. As I said, we don't know how. And you can see that the burns on his face are becoming, they like almost are smoldering a little bit, and he's cringing with pain. And he kind of sits down heavily in his chair. And you can see that, yes, he might offend you. And yes, he might be a D-bag. But he's clearly in a lot of pain, and this has taken a lot out of him. and he kind of just waves like this.
I'm like ushering Mogul out the door.
Melagul. And he says, we will negotiate the price afterwards, but we would be very happy to pay for your services.
I'm just trying to get out the door.
All right.
No need for negotiation.
Melagul waves his hand, and the doors open again silently. And he turns to you and he says, "Listen, let's leave the dean. The dean, and he needs time to recuperate. Just speaking hurts him as of late. It's all getting worse." And he kind of ushers you out of the dean's room, and the door's shut behind. And he looks at all of you and he says, I will accompany you on wherever this brings us and do my best to, act as an emissary of the university. And he touches your shoulder, Eladin, and he says, Eladin, I know there's history between you and the dean, but you must put it aside. He's doing his best to put it aside too. And I think there's still home for you here, and we can talk about it further after this is done. But this is a great service you would be doing for us. And he gestures to all of you and all of you. And the dean downplays what we'd be willing to pay. I know it would be generous sum.
You don't need to convince me. We will do this. And I look at mainly Isilme, but I say to everybody, look, when I went to school here, I did not have many friends, but one of them has died, Higby, and then the other two are now missing in the stacks. I need to do something, and I need you to help.
So what do you think we're up against?
This is a college of magic. It could be literally anything.
The stacks are not the safest place in the university, especially as you descend into the lower depths. It's kind of the type of place where you never know what you're going to get. Some of the rooms are not there the next day after you've been in them. Others, the books have moved around by themselves. It kind of has a mind of its own.
DM question. Are we standing outside, or is Melagul leading us somewhere right now?
Melagul is slowly walking out of the main, down that long staircase that you went to get out of that older tower.
In that case, I would like to position myself in such a way that I am turned towards the captain so that I can silently mouth things to her.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask the captain, Captain, do you think that we should actually engage in this? It's not necessarily our concern, or perhaps it is tangential to some of the things that we've seen, but if it's unrelated to the reemergence of beholders and other fell historical legendary monsters, I don't see how it pertains to us. It's only distracting us, really.
But maybe they can give us information on this old beholder war. Maybe they can help.
They can't even find their students. How are they going to help against beholders?
You don't hear that. It's just like
No,
me.
Okay. Those two can lip read.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But if they have a library filled with information and friars.
Give me a history check, Fleos. And
Sure.
Isilme, just since you're talking about this, both give me history checks.
Sure.
That's not my strong suit.
Hold on. Yeah, not my strong suit.
Do it advantage because you're both sailors.
Oh, okay.
17. Much better.
Yeah.
Hold on. 18.
Yeah, so one of the things you know about the university is that it has a port attached to it, okay? Not attached to the university, but to the city around it. And
Right.
there's a requirement if you want to berth in this port or to make any landfall, and that is that any book that is physically on your ship must be examined at the docks, and if it's found to be a book that is not in the library for whatever reason, it is taken from you. They copy it, they put it in their libraries, and the book is given back to you. So they have almost an infinite number of books.
Okay, they definitely have.
I read them all.
More books than the churches. Okay, all right.
On a similar note, having been educated privately by the church, what would Dimitri's knowledge of such a college be?
You would know of it. I mean, you don't know the specifics about it because it's not associated with an individual religion, and it's not. It itself is secular. It definitely does not associate with a religion. It doesn't have a religious wing or anything like that. Just like it doesn't have druids. It doesn't practice druidry. Druidry.
Druidish princess. Like the lane.
It doesn't practice druidic practices.
Sure.
It is focused entirely on wizardry. There's no sorcery. There's no warlockery. No witchcraft. Nothing of that nature. So it's only wizardry.
Yeah. It's straight study of arcane magic.
You got it.
Gotcha.
How do bards fit in with this place?
No bards.
They don't have a college of music?
They do not have a college of music. That's what the rich kids study, right?
Liberal arts.
Is there even a club concert band?
Lore bard.
How do they not have a glee club?
I'm sure there are some wizards who like to make math music and such.
If they have the biggest library on the planet, why wouldn't lore bards be here? If that's a thing you're into, Lucius.
I mean, not really a thing I'm into, but
okay.
I used to escort Lord Bards to their respective university to make sure they're not harassed.
They're a little protective of their knowledge. Only other wizards are usually allowed to enter the libraries.
Right.
It will be a great.
So wrapping up this silent conversation with the captain, we'll say, you make a good point, Captain, and they certainly would have access to information that we don't, if we can spare the time. But until then, I will follow your lead, as always.
Just kind of nod. Thank you, but we should still keep a lookout. I don't trust them 100%.
Noted.
All right. And then I think, Lucius, you wanted to talk to Melagul?
Belagul, can I talk to you for a moment?
Of course, why not? We have a little bit of walk. I'm actually first. Who's in charge? It seems like I'm sorry, I didn't get your names.
Oh, I'm Lucius. Our captain is the one in charge.
And he kind of bows and says, I'm sorry it was to rush you so quickly into the dean's room. I didn't really get to introduce myself proper, and I kind of did, but I didn't get to meet your acquaintance. Captain...
Just I take off Higsby's hat and bow and do the whole...
I forgot you have Higsby.
Whole flourish. Whole flourish.
It's not Higsby's hat, it's the captain's hat from that ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the Gladiator.
No, it was Higsby's hat.
Oh, it is Higsby's hat.
It was Higsby's big pompous hat.
The captain didn't have a hat.
Oh, okay. I forgot. The pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
You as well.
I was wondering if I can ask you a question and ask a favor.
These might be very reasonable things. Yes, I mean, go ask away.
How, in a more personal manner, how are you received here?
I mean, the school is a place that allows all peoples to study, as long as you are proficient in the arts and you have an appropriate source of sponsorship. I mean,
So,
you still have everything you'd expect in the world, right? Of course. He smiles
Right.
charmingly.
I certainly understand. The other question is there a yard or some type of meditative place around here?
Yes, of course, many. But before we get to something like that, it's very important. I'm sure you've noticed the tattoos on your arms.
Before, let me just interrupt you. If you could just do me a favor and bury these out there, and I give them 2 heads.
Oh, that's right. You did have heads on you.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
He takes them from you.
Yeah.
And I mean, he holds them in one big paw, and he looks at them. He says, "What are these of again? What?"
There were people who did not escape the fate that we've escaped, and
It was the
as a
jester, right? The jester and the knight.
correct. And as a fighter and an entertainer, I feel like they need a better burial than what they would deserve.
I think did Dimitri make them not decompose, or
Dimitri and I both worked on preserving them.
Yes.
cool. So he kind of like holds them a little far and like looks at them. He says, "This is pretty good work," and he kind of touches them, and then
Oh, they're sticky.
of course they're sticky. And
No, I mean because you preserve heads with resin.
I love it. It's great. And he snaps his fingers and then like hits his wizard staff against the ground, and they kind of whoosh and morph out. I've sent them to a place for safekeeping. We'll bury them when this is the appropriate time. I worry though that they might sprout something, so we will make sure we have appropriate ceremonies. And he looks over to Dimitri and says, "Maybe you can provide some sacrament."
It would be my honor.
Excellent.
I would suggest such a thing, if it were not already offered. But thank you.
Captain, is very important. I need you all to understand. This chit chat. It makes me. I love talking, so it's okay. But what I want to understand, everybody, you have a tattoo on your arm, okay? You see this tattoo? He doesn't have a tattoo, but he points to his own arm. You see this tattoo?
We see it.
Force compliance.
I moved some of my armor sleeve out to see if I have one because I wouldn't.
I was going to say, same thing here. I
Yeah.
removed some of my armor.
Everyone has one. If you look closely, please. And as you're looking, you see that it's like there's almost like a tree trunk, just like about an inch of a tree trunk, and then all of these beautiful tendrils coming away from it. You notice that the very extent of the tendrils are like curling a little bit and beginning to fade. You only have about 8 hours, and we've already spent about 30 minutes, okay? You only have 8 hours until you are sent from where you came.
We need to get moving then.
Time for a long rest.
So, Captain, please, where would you like to start? I'm assuming you're inside.
So what you are saying is that no matter where we are, when this thing runs out, we're going to go back to where we came from.
That is correct. Exactly the positions you were in.
Okay, good. That is what I wanted to know.
We're in the middle of a fucking fight. If we're gonna have it 8 hours, I'd have to take a fucking nap and go into whatever the hell these people want to take us.
I can do my best to refresh you before you travel back to where you came from. But we must act quickly.
All
I was
right.
going to say we were in the middle of something. We're not exactly at our A game right now.
Then we can do something to help you along. But first, please, we don't. I don't know where are we starting, Captain? Do you have an idea?
We should go to Sithu's room.
Started with some ale.
No one lets me speak.
I just picture Islame slapping somebody right then. I don't know who. Everybody?
Eladin.
Ragus.
All right, Eladin, you know this place best. Where do you want to start?
We'll start at Sithu's room, see if we can get a hint on how she got down there.
Okay, I can take you there. No problem. Let's go. It's very close by. So he leads you through the corridors, and You go up and down through a whole bunch of towers. Some of them are open areas, and you walk across bridges that seem like they almost shouldn't be able to exist, bridges that are super dense. You see all sorts of scenes set around the school proper. There are literally like trees growing out the side of a building, everything you can imagine. All sorts of animals moving across the spaces. You know, everything from black squirrels to tiny little like hippogriffs. And he brings you to a much quieter, more secluded area. It is a tower that almost has no occupants. And he leads you to the interior of it. And it's actually like almost like a keep instead of a tower, and it has a courtyard in the middle. And he leads you to a room. He takes the key off his neck and holds it near the lock, and it actually shifts shape. And he enters it into the lock and turns it, and there's a loud click, and he opens the door. And it leads into a pretty large and spacious room for, you know, a student of the university. She was a fellow, or is a fellow. So she's studying for her higher education, her postdoctorate work, basically. And the room is very Spartan. There's a bed. The bed has its sheets immaculately set. There is a table. The table has what looks to be a leather-bound notebook of some type. There is a quill and ink. There is a letter opener. There is a single candle. And then there's an armoire. There's a very large window, just one, and it overlooks into the courtyard. So tell me what you want to do.
I immediately go over to the book and open it up.
You open it up. There's no lock on it. There's nothing. It is completely blank.
Toss the bank.
I take the ink and quill and write in it, Sithu, where are you?
No ink shows up.
Toss the bed.
You toss the bed? Is that what you're doing?
Toss the bed. Yep.
Give me an investigation for your tossing of the bed.
Hang on a second. Investigation.
I have all these DCs already written.
Supposed to get Eladin when he sees what he is doing.
Just the mental image of a 14-year-old, like, just
I know.
physically
What a
tossing
creepy
bed is
14-year-old.
Amazing.
What?
6, I find nothing. I can't even find the bed.
What'd you roll?
6, I can't even find the
A
bed.
6? You look through the bed, you pull off the sheets, everybody's seeing Solbaya just kind of like, you know, ripping it apart, taking off the pillow, you know, things of that nature. And it just looks like a bed, a very well kept bed, except now it's very unkempt.
Okay, I take out the pen from Greek Santa that he gave me.
I don't remember what this does. I could look through the spreadsheet, but it's better if you explain it.
Sure. And I hand it over to Eladin, and I say, try writing with this, but be prepared for what it's going to make you write.
So I
have
take
to
it.
look up what this does.
And I mean, I don't know if it'll help, but I don't know magic stuff because I'm just a pirate. So it's a delicate silver pen that, when held, makes the holder write a secret they would not write or say themselves. But I'm wondering if it has any other magical properties that would keep the ink in the book for you. Never used it.
So, Eladin, so you're gonna have to reveal a secret to the rest of us that you would never reveal, and you're writing it on this paper.
Well,
I said be careful.
Well,
there is no being careful. Well, you know what? Give me a wisdom. Give me a wisdom save.
Do I get to choose the language that I write in?
Give me a wisdom save.
Sorry, not
that is a 12.
And what language are you writing in?
Draconic.
I will accept this. Yeah. So you you write something, a minor revelation, whatever it is. And does anyone speak Draconic? Does anyone read Draconic and is nearby?
I do.
Well, you're tossing the bed. Anyone else?
Fair enough.
I'm right nearby, but I do not read Draconic.
Good. All right.
Right.
I will not force you to reveal it then.
All right.
DM question.
Yeah.
What does while while our intrepid youth is tossing the bed,
Yes.
what does a 16 investigation get one?
What are you looking for specifically?
That's just my passive.
Oh, there's nothing immediately amiss that you can recognize
If you'd
or
have
see.
sit to me, I would have had a 19.
I was gonna say, like, once he's done tossing the bed, Dimitri would go and then remake the bed, and then go out of his way to put things back exactly where they came from. Would there be anything that he would come across?
So I have one question. Do you already have inspiration?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I haven't even seen. I guess our overlay isn't working because I have no clue how to do it. That's fine. Because our overlay should actually show our character stuff over it.
I'm not. I think I might have from like forever ago and never used it, but I also might have had it and then used it and then not gotten rid of
All
it.
right.
I
Well,
have
I'm
no
just
idea.
giving you inspiration. There's nothing too deep about
Okay.
it. So if you
Well,
don't
there
have
you
it,
go.
you have it. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go over and you make the bed. So we'll let's hold off on that because that's going to happen after this. Eladin, you do write
Sure.
in Draconic. It shows up regular ink on the page in your Draconic.
Is the candle on the table lit
Mm-mm. Unlit. It's been 3
I
days,
like-
man.
with some sort of minor cantrip or something?
It lights.
And then I hold that up to the book, not so close that it would burn it, but enough that it's like illuminated.
You do not see anything. It glows, as paper wants to.
I slam my fist on the table, frustrated.
Fair. Anyone else doing anything else?
Fleos, why don't you check out that armoire?
All right. I'll go check out the armoire. I mean, yeah. I'm certainly.
Paladin with my pen and the book.
You're what? I'm sorry?
I'm just kind of watching
Ah.
Eladin with the book and my pen. Not sure what's gonna happen.
All right, Fleos.
16.
A 16 to search the armoire. You notice that the top of the armoire and where the door starts is about like 9 inches, and that the top of the armoire, like if you were to put your hand inside, is only about an inch in. So there's this space that's unaccounted for.
Okay. Well, as both a merchant and like a merchant trader and also just a merchant, I'm sure I have a good idea about hiding things, but I'm going to point it out to the captain rather, just in case it's trapped, because I don't study that type of magic. So I'll also call Eladin over.
I don't study magic.
Yeah, I'll inspect it for some magical booby trap.
Yeah.
I have to work with my axe out. Are you sure you don't want me to just hack it?
I love it.
That might be the sort of thing that sets it off. I didn't even want to touch it with my hand.
Trying to look for like mechanical kind of traps that I would know about. I got only a 12.
You don't see anything. You don't really see anything that would be a trap.
DM question.
That's fine, traps.
Are we kind of at a rest at this point?
A rest indicating like you're not doing laborious activities.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, are you asking, does this count as a short rest?
I'm asking in the terms of if I have enough time, I'm pulling out my dulcimer and I'll just start setting it up and kind of playing it just because Lucius has nothing to do with magic or...
You can do that. Yeah, this is taking time, right? This is
Yeah,
like
but, like,
it's
enough
not like
time to
everybody's
do it.
burst in and just doing this. This takes time to look through the room proper.
Okay. While they're looking at the armoire, I'm just going to slowly make my way around the room, looking at cupboards, bookshelf, anything else that might be in the room, the bottom of chairs.
Are you going to re-examine the bed or no? You're
I'll
classifying
go
What?
it.
Please bring it back.
I mean, I'm
No.
putting the bed back the way it belongs.
I feel I actually trust that Solbaya is good at finding things, so
Normally he is.
not recheck the bed.
So you're not rechecking the bed, but you're checking the rest of the room. Give me an investigation, and Eladin, you're checking for magical traps.
Yeah. Yes.
Anything? What'd you roll?
Oh, what is that, Arcana?
Give me it's not really an Arcana. It's more a perception check.
Okay.
Grabsus,
What's
I
that?
forget. Do you do nats on skills or
Right.
no?
Like, does it count as a critical?
Yeah.
I'll give you a mental boost on my end, like a +5
21 nat 20.
for looking around. Okay, so what you find, you find a ball of yarn. I shit you not. So you're just generally searching around, and you close the door, right? Because everybody's in the room now, and you close the door. And when you close it, you notice that something probably fell out of a container, and it's this tiny little ball of twine. It's not even yarn. It's like very fine twine, like white twine, like the kind you would find in like a general store. You know, wax and coated and everything like that.
Yeah. For sealing up brown paper packages.
Yeah.
That one would tie up with string.
Right.
Yeah. That contains some of my favorite things. All right.
My favorite things.
So yeah. I guess I'll look at it because we're in some weird wizard's room. I'm gonna gingerly try to figure out if it's got some sort of arcane presence, even though that's not really my jam. But Eladin is doing something else right now, so I'll see what I can do on my own.
So beginning to unravel it, the first, foot of it falls free after pulling it away. Like it had been connected and you felt the tension, and then the tension just gives and that first bit falls out.
Okay.
What do you do?
It's just 1 foot?
Yeah, you just get 1 foot. You still have the ball in one hand and now a foot of twine in the other.
All right. I'm going to just sort of tug at the foot.
Seems sturdy and steady and good.
Okay. I'm going to unravel another foot. I'm also going to look closely at the ball while I do this to see if I notice it staying the same size.
Yeah, so
what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see my fingers. I'm going to use one of my fingers to chalk the size of the twine as I hold it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
You're a sailor. You got this.
Yeah.
So you go to take the next bit, and when it reaches a foot, that other piece, it doesn't snap to it. What happens is the distance between it is suddenly spanned by a piece of twine that connects the two of them.
So, like, the first piece was on the ground where I left it. The second piece
and it didn't move.
Yeah. No poof, just it was there.
Just snaps into existence as if it had always been there.
Right. Okay. All right. That seems useful.
Okay. So
I'm going to quickly twine up the new length of string, and I'm going to put that in one pocket, and I'm going to keep this other one in a more secure inner pocket.
Oh no, it's no longer separated. It's still now one piece.
Well, no. Well, wait. Oh.
Yeah, that 1 foot is now connected to the rest of the twine. Do you understand?
So, like the space that was between them just magically filled with new twine, or
yes,
okay.
A tape measure.
Yes.
So I've got the ball of twine that is now connected to foot A.
Yes.
And then I've got foot B, which is unconnected from either of them.
No. So what happened is you pulled that first foot out and it disconnected.
Yeah.
You then
and
went
you dropped
and you
it to the
pulled
floor.
and you dropped it to the floor, and you went to pull the second foot out. It didn't disconnect. What happened is the end. What is the word for this? The sharp end.
The end of foot B magically connected to the end of foot A and just created that space between them.
And it's not taut; it's slack.
Yeah.
So it So it's not, but it's not like crazy slack. It has slack in it.
Okay, and it's also still connected to the ball of twine.
You got it.
All right. Now I understand.
Yeah. So foot A is now reconnected by this extra length of twine.
Yes.
Got you.
You can crochet like a motherfucker.
When I
Perception is high enough that it's now jumped out of my pocket and it's trying to play with the twine on the floor.
Oh yes, it's so true.
Yes. Yes.
I am certainly cool enough with the captain's cat to sort of entertain. I'm just gonna like bob it just slightly out of paw rage for her for a little bit.
I look over. Fleos, what are you doing? We're in a hurry here.
This is serious.
This is what happens when you have cats in D&D. Or kittens, specifically. Okay, Eladin.
So Fleo snaps back into it. I'm gonna roll. Last thing, I'm gonna roll the twine back up. I want to note whether or not the ball of twine gets larger as I roll it
Same
back
size.
up. It always stays
It's been the same size the entire time.
Okay.
All right.
Infant swine.
Okay.
Eladin,
19.
Well,
a 19 to check this out. You don't perceive any traps, any indicators of magic, anything like that, but you do find a very, 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 very tiny latch.
I open it.
It opens, it falls down like about a couple of inches, and a wooden with metal reinforced box, like a very slim box, almost as if it could contain a book or something like that, slides out.
All right, can I open the box?
Yeah, it's not locked or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just has a latch on it. You open the latch, and inside is a leather-bound book. Sorry, half a second. It says, in, again, the wizard's handwriting, it says, not wizard's handwriting, wizard's language. It says, algorithmic approach to literary and literal navigation of the ever-changing corridors of the library of Keldafan Simrasel, a practical approach. I'll repeat that because it's a lot. Algorithmic approach to literary and literal navigation of the ever-changing corridors of the library of Keldafan Simrasel, a practical approach.
DM question. Am I smart enough? Do I feel like I'm smart enough to understand anything in this book?
Intelligence is pretty hard.
It is.
You feel like a sophomore attempting to read a grad paper. So
Yeah.
yeah, like you get some of the gist.
All right. Is there any spell that will let me read this really fast?
You know, good old speed read.
I feel like that should be a spell, but it's not one that I have
Absolute
prepared.
knowledge. Okay. What else is happening? So did somebody say they are checking the bed?
well, yeah. So while they're doing that, I am trying to like remake the bed and put things back where I thought I saw them come from,
Yeah.
and like sort of like reverse engineer any sort of investigation I got to do for this.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, since you're not strictly investigating it, I think mentally, give me a perception check just to see if you perceive what's there, if there is anything there.
Okie dokie.
DM, I was trying to check under the bed since I'm the shortest person in the group, and I rolled a 20 for investigation.
Well, shit, son. You should have said that. So the dwarf
Also-
being lowered, yeah?
22 for my perception.
All right, well, you don't even get to it because the dwarf's like, what's this? Which is, I'm going to let you say it. But you kind of crouch down and look underneath, and the bed has braces, like not braces made out of metal, but has wooden kind of
Supports,
sure. I was looking for the joists, right? And between one of the joists, kind of hidden a little bit, is a empty bottle of wine.
Oh. Well, it looks like there's some wine in here in the middle. It's kind of weird.
Knowledge.
I pick it out.
Eladin, you recognize the bottle of wine. It's the bottle of wine you had with Sithu the night before you fled to college.
Dun, dun, dun. I take it out.
It's
Now,
empty.
I go to take it out.
It's a very cheap bottle of wine.
Like, is there any left?
No, it's been empty for years.
Ragus, can I have that?
Hey, it's fucking empty. Have a go.
He tosses it to you haphazardly.
Yeah, I don't care. Like,
I use every bit of magic at my disposal to make sure it does not break.
All right, so Lucius, you wander over to, because you're playing your lute. Or wait, sorry, what instrument? I said lute.
Dulcimer.
Dulcimer, thank you. You're playing your dulcimer, has dulcimer tones, and you kind of sit on the windowsill because it's an open window and it looks out over that courtyard. It just, and allow those beautiful tones to descend into
Those dulcet tones.
Yes, into the courtyard, which is overgrown and covered in ivy and vines. And as you're looking out, you notice in the stone itself, kind of still somewhat covered with moss, but you can make it out, is an elvish phrase.
As impersonator.
It says,
Thank you very much.
Adeneth Yanar Naur. Which you speak Elvish, yeah?
Correct.
You recognize that it means women, blood, and fire.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Women, blood, and fire.
Okay.
I call Eladin over.
What's up, big
Hey,
Luke?
I kind of just rub his beard for,
The
Well,
beard
I'm
like
gonna give him a little-
retracts a little bit. It's like, I don't like being rubbed.
Does this mean anything to you? Women, blood, and fire? I mean, I've dabbled in a little bit of all three, but
It says this in the courtyard?
Give me a bardic knowledge check, since we have that as a thing that I made up. Did not steal from 3rd edition.
I'm doubling my proficiency.
Yes.
It's just
23.
Yeah, so you recognize it as an old Elvish phrase. It's almost like, it's usually not isolated like that. It's like, 3 worries or 3 fears. But in this case, it's just in isolation. Maybe the rest of it wore away or something like that.
Something like this, my mom's used to say things like this. It's like whatever was on her mind.
Plural?
Does this mean anything to you? Women, blood, and fire?
No, but this is a school of magic that could be the part of a ritual.
Hey, Mel.
Sounds like a special time of the moon.
Yes, what can I help you with? He's just been standing there quietly observing, because this is not his forte.
I'm packing my shit up. I have a question. Out of the people that have been missing, how many of them have been women?
There are not many women that go to the university. 3, maybe, including Sisu.
Interesting. Well,
How many are lady boys?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. What?
How many are lady boys?
1.
I mean, I just sort of chuckle. They're wizards.
Got it.
Sexuality is a very flexible thing.
it is.
We met Aladdin. So,
I'm learning so much about my compatriots here.
I don't mean to rush you. He kind of looks at one of your. He holds up.
I was just gonna say maybe it's time to-
Eladin's arm and looks at it, and there's the little bit of those tendrils are receding.
Oh well.
Good
I
point.
take the bottle of wine and the 2 books with us.
1 buck. Oh, the 2. You're taking the 2. Okay.
Yeah. Along with the quill and ink, if I can put that in my bag too.
Okay.
And
think
as
we
we
need a
walk,
bag of holding
as
something.
we walk, I'm gonna try writing more shit in the book.
With what?
With that quill that was with it.
None of it shows up.
So interesting.
So where are we going?
To the stacks, I suppose.
The door is barred. We cannot dispel the magic that is on it. It is a timed released magic. It will stay on for at least another year. Nothing can get through. Nothing.
Well, something gets through.
You got to read that book.
Yeah, I open up the book that sit through the practical approach.
Yes, it is about 1,000-page book. It filled up that entire space.
Control F.
And it begins with a whole set of proofs.
I go right to the end.
And in the end is ST
QED.
A equals B. No, actually it has upside down A equals upside down A.
Guys, I figured it out.
All equals all.
Yes.
The answer is infinity.
Okay, Ming.
All right, I'm gonna cast Detect Mag. I'm gonna go walk back into Sithu's room and cast Detect Magic.
Okay,
See,
so you
make sure we
basically
didn't
can
miss
see
anything.
magical auras now.
What'd you say?
You can basically see magical auras now, and you can understand what school they come from.
Yeah.
Yes. So you looking around, you. So here's a very specific question, which maybe gives it a little bit away. You're just looking at what's in the room right now.
Say that again. You broke up.
You're just looking at what's in the room right now.
Yeah. Like I went into the middle of the room and I'm doing this whole like Batman circle around looking.
Yeah, there's you do notice something. So what did you do with the box?
I left it on the desk.
So you see a very tiny aura originating from there. I won't place the school. Just open it up and figure it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, you kind of notice that there's like a false section inside of there as well. And moving it aside, it kind of pops open, and there's a very fine necklace with a very tiny piece of quartz, and you can feel that it is a magical focus. It's a very feminine piece of jewelry.
Would I know if this is?
Yes, it is hers. You remember her wearing it.
How would she have gone in without a focus?
Well, she could have had multiple. Oh, just say
fair.
that right there.
If I take the focus and I write in the book again or look at the book again, does it change anything?
No dice.
Damn.
But while looking at the book, you notice that the book emanates a magical aura, and so does the candle.
Candle.
Who tried the candle in the book?
Burn the book.
Will it matter what school the book, the candle's from?
Illusion.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna try lighting the book on fire, and I'm gonna have a spell ready.
Oh my god.
Well, that escalated.
I roll my eyes.
Well, Dimitri, do you have a better idea?
Joke.
I mean, I tried to read the book using the candle, and that didn't work.
Let me see.
I hand it over for a sec.
Speaking of, let me see. Does your eye tell you anything about this room?
I don't think I told Lucius about my eye.
But isn't it a little
But-
obvious you have a magic glowing?
Oh
it's
yeah,
mostly
You're like
just
absolutely.
21,000 over there.
Absolutely, it's like it's fucking got a different fucking color per facet of the gem, and then there's a big giant fucking starburst fucking shaped scar like covering half my face around it.
Pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah,
Just,
it is.
for all our viewers to know.
I basically look like Cable.
It looks kind of like you have a D20 stuck in your skull.
Cool.
Because it is a 20-sided
Yes,
stone.
yes. So that is a legitimate question. Does my eye pick up on anything?
No, I would have told you. Just like Eldon's beard
that's
doesn't
what
pick
I
up on
figured.
anything.
Cool.
Multiple sentient items.
If
Yeah.
if I touch the candle, like the flame on the candle, does it burn?
Yes, just like a normal candle flame would.
Guys, I am stumped.
Well, you're the people that do the magic. All I can do is a few little tricks.
So it's a furball. What's his name? Meligar?
Furball?
No.
Another ghoul.
Furball.
Yeah.
Grassmith,
What's up?
what's in this room again? I'm sorry, I missed the...
So I'll re-describe it at the point where you entered it. There was a bed that was extremely well kept.
Mhm.
There was a table, a desk, that had a leather-bound notebook, like a journal, a candle, a letter opener, a large window looking out into the courtyard, and an armoire.
I'm gonna look out the window. Just why not?
You're looking out the window, you see into a courtyard that is overgrown, and you don't speak Elvish, do you?
No.
You see a bunch of Elvish gobbledygook.
Okay. Where? On the window itself?
No, it's like across the courtyard, like etched in stone, but you can tell it's kind of been, especially you can specifically tell it's been worn away with time.
Okay.
I'm
Boy,
going to go over to the
Boy.
wardrobe.
anybody with 20 years can
Okay.
come-
Wait, one person at a time. Let's Isilme, you first.
What kind of magic was detected on the book versus the candle and everything?
Illusion. It's all illusionary magic.
Okay. So I have the book in my hand. I'm looking at it. And I'm going to cast dispel magic on it and be like, reveal your secrets.
Yeah, so you do that, and nothing happens.
It was worth a shot.
Cool.
I was trying to ask anybody with pointy ears could come to the window and tell me what the hell this is.
Yeah, clear your ears,
Hey,
Outdoor.
does
I already
this
said it's
spell
woman,
magic
blood,
wear
and fire.
Really important question. Does the spell magic wear off? Because you may have just made it so it's unreadable.
No, I don't think so.
That is an excellent question. Let's go look up what it says in
Think
the
it used to.
compendium.
Third level or lower, and
Wait, are there any lemons in
Any
the
spell
room?
of third level or lower on the target ends. For each spell of fourth level or higher on the target, make an ability check using your spellcaster ability. E equals 10 plus spells of the level on a subject spell ends. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of fourth level or higher, you automatically add effects.
Wait,
So should I be rolling?
Sure.
roll really bad, I guess.
I was trying to think. Should we try to say mention something about blood, about women, about fire, right?
That's
So-
exactly what it says.
Should maybe a female from the group cut her finger and spread blood with fire on the pages,
That's a stretch.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Captain?
I just roll my eyes and flip my hand a little bit and drop some blood on the book. Gary?
I rolled a 13.
Oh, good. It's not dispelled. We're good. It's fine. You just feel like it's ineffective. Isilme,
Okay.
you thank all the gods, because I was just like, well, I guess we'll pack up this session, and 8 hours passes. Isilme,
I did bring it up.
Isilme, your blood pours on the page and leaves blood on the page.
Okay. Can we put fire on the blood now?
Take the candle.
Yeah. Get the candle close to the blood and see if it does anything.
The page smolders.
But I didn't say to put it on the thing. I said near it.
Captain, could you perhaps drop a bit of blood onto the candle?
As you do so, the light changes to a very, very, very scarlet red, and it illuminates the entire room, and all of this very meticulous elvish handwriting bursts across the pages. Who's going to read
Well,
it?
that was dramatic.
I take the book.
Good
it
thinking,
turns out you're
Ragus.
writing.
Did you
Yeah,
yeah, I think Eladin just said he grabs the book out of Isilme's hand.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you're welcome. And I start trying to bandage my hand.
All right, skimming through it, you find a couple
Dimitri
passages
goes
where
over and helps you bandage your hand.
it is
I was
clearly
gonna say, just for the thank you, I take my whatever handkerchief I may have, which is probably filthy and disgusting, and I also
Oh,
want to clean your hand with it.
I do not allow Ragus to do
Good
that.
thinking, Ragus, but I'm good. Good
he
job
somehow
on figuring out the puzzle.
he somehow has rust on it too, so it's
Mm,
particularly grody.
no, no.
Metal
The-
shavings in my cut.
So you pull out a couple of excerpts in order. One says from about 2 weeks ago, Gron has become obsessed with the missing initiates. There are 12 so far, and the number seems to increase with every passing day. Last night, an acolyte vanished in the room of silent whispers. The university is already beginning to talk of closing the stacks, about abandoning those that it has lost. It is unlikely the administration... Oh, sorry. I can't read. It's unlike the administration to be so fearful. Gron has openly challenged Dean Vine and called for an immediate investigation. The fool has volunteered himself. Then, from about a week ago, Gron has made several incursions into the stacks. He has reported odd findings, moist footprints, voices that vanish into swirling mist, locked doors on rooms known to be friendly to all. Some books have grown spikes and mouths with teeth, as if to defend themselves. He is worried. The stacks have always been a little dangerous and a little unique, but there's a sense of hostility permeating the libraries of the underground. He's begun arming himself with war spells and charms when he descends. I've reached out to Higsby, urging him to return to help with the investigation. If only E The page is then smeared with tears. 3 days ago, Gron did not return from the stacks. Maybe I'm being silly. Maybe I had to spend the night in the underground. Or maybe he had to spend the night in the underground. But I cannot help but feel something amiss has happened. I can just feel that something is wrong deep in my heart. I must act and act quickly. Dean Vines said I could not go after him. The students are afraid. No other fellows or professors are willing to journey beyond the wards that have been placed on the doors to the library. I have found mention of a way into the library's heart in the algorithmic approach to literary and the book. And then there are some quick notes about the book itself, excerpts that are written in her hand. There's a quote from the book. The moonlight pool is known to have a bottom, or so they say. If you go deep enough, past the point of loss of gravity, into the endless darkness, into the endless unknown. Just past that point is a door. You must grab hold and quick, or it will vanish. So I am told. I've never done this myself, but the source is reliable enough, and was momentarily sober. The door leads to the library's heart. And then there's another. It is always assumed that the library is an amalgam of magical spells and artifacts bought, and constructed over the thousands of years that the school has been on this spot. The first room, the room of too few books, is accredited to Keldafar Simracel, so the library bears his name. But I believe the library is much older. Through a statistical analysis of corridors, byways, glyphs, pairings, and detailed examinations of maps and theories, I've concluded that the library is indeed not an amalgam as we previously thought. That is, it is not a collection of disjoint elements, but rather a living organism. This theory is not very popular with my advisors, which is why I'm only publishing my thoughts in this small journal that I plan on self-publishing amongst a few select students. And then a final note. If there is a heart, there must be a head. One organ should lead to the next, no? And that's it.
Okay, so I read that out loud, so everybody heard it.
Okay.
And then the pool, the moonlit pool, is that like a thing?
Melagul goes, oh, no, not the moonlit pool. It's just the moonlit pool. You recall, like, that there's a locked door that in Elvish on it says the moonlit pool, but no students are allowed.
I start groaning. We're not going to go back inside water, are we?
It's best that I just show you, I guess. And he says, come, let us go.
I look at that Malagul or Malagul for Malakas, and I ask you, what happened with those refreshments and possibly ale we were asking about?
He kind of like pulls a bell out of his pouch and rings it, and then it disintegrates. And you feel like you've had a long rest because you're gonna fucking need it. So
Good.
Go ahead and refresh all your stats.
Is that for all of us?
For everybody.
Asking you shall receive.
It's already 10 o'clock.
If I wipe out the entire party, I apologize. Okay. Descending a whole bunch of stairs, you go deep into the kind of catacombs of the school. And then you go back up, because this is just a very secluded area, and all the way to the top of a tower. And you can see everything around you, and there's a single door. It's open all around except for this door, which leads into the center of the tower. And it says on it, Moonlit Pool in Elvish. And the door has all of these runes that, Elodin, you immediately recognize as wards, blocking the door. And Melagul takes out his lock, or sorry, his key from his necklace, and it changes shape again. And he inserts it into the lock, and the wards all are dispelled immediately. And he turns it, and the door opens. And the door opens and leads into a misproportioned room. What I mean by that is it seems like it should be relatively small, but as you step into it, it is about the size of an Olympic pool. Basically, there's an Olympic pool inside of this room.
It's a transcendental.
Except...
I go in and I say, it's bigger on the inside.
Yeah, yes. And the stonework is stunning, Ragus. It is absolutely stunning stonework, and you can tell by the hands of it. Clearly dwarven. From the ceiling are a whole bunch
Does
of...
that point out to me as well now?
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's clearly dwarven. Nobody has to know why that is, that you know this. There are all these openings in the ceiling, and you can see a sky that wasn't outside. And there's a full moon taking up almost the entire space. And these moonbeams are just hammering into the surface of the water, which is completely still. reflecting back the light, and it is pitch black, this water. And Melagul walks over to it, like standing at the edge, and says, "No one knows how far down it goes. Some say it just leads to another plane full of water."
I took a puff of my pipe of underwater breathing just in case.
How long does that one last?
I think it's like 30 minutes.
Okay.
Cleo,
So I take a copper and I cast light on it, and I just sort of flick it into the water.
Yeah, it descends slowly.
You want to listen to Fleos? He's got a good one.
And it vanishes beyond your sight.
so
You can make us breathe underwater.
before it even vanishes, like as he's casting it and throwing it into the water, I'm going to hold up my hand and I'm going to please give me 10 minutes, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to begin ritual casting water breathing. I'm going to
There you go.
take out my little Tektite disc, and I'm going to place a little reed atop the top of it, and just gonna focus upon it for a little bit until everybody gains the ability to be amphibious.
Excellent.
It's for 24 hours, right?
Yes.
How many individuals does it affect?
I believe it's up to 8, but let me double check.
Well, there are 8 of us.
It's convenient.
Up to 10, actually.
Excellent. All right, so we are all affected.
I fucking hate water.
I jump in.
Yeah, you jump in, and it's not like water. You immediately start falling through the water. You breathe, though, thankfully, because of the spell. So everybody just sees Eladin jump in and just go down like a rock. Not a rock in water, like a rock dropped from the top of a tower.
I'm already
That
like
is quick.
swan diving after him.
Yep, and you don't even need to swim. You can swim to move horizontally, but you just are descending fast. Melagul like sighs heavily and follows.
I shake my
Oh,
head.
shit.
Like, oh my god. I hate these people.
I'm
Hey,
like
man,
picturing it.
it's time
Alex,
for
like,
your monthly bath anyways. And I just sort of push Ragus in.
Monthly, come on, fella. I would have been doing this every fucking time we get in the water.
I think that came out as.
I'm gonna jump in after Ragus.
Water now.
What's that? You can talk like underwater? Was that-
Well, because of water breathing.
Can you actually talk with water breathing though?
I
I
mean,
believe yes.
I mean, it carries.
be accepted. I can look it up on Sage Advice and see if there's actually a ruling. The spell does not say that it gives you the ability to talk.
I for now, let's say it gives you the ability to move. So you and Islamay can very distinctly understand each other because you can just mime it, whatever.
Yeah.
But we have plenty of communication. Like move over there. I think that we uniformly can understand. So I don't
Sure.
think we're out of sorts. All right. So you descend.
Paladin, like, can you slow us down?
Very fall. Feather fall.
Slow
I
down.
mean, are we falling like fast enough that if we hit something we would get hurt?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna drop a feather fall on us all.
Okay. Excellent. It slows your descent.
Which would probably look interesting because we were all staggered out, and so at some point we're all just gonna like hit it and then start falling slowly, and then hit it and start falling slowly. Yeah.
And there are bubbles, trailing you and everything like that. The light very rapidly leaves you. The moonbeams don't go all the way down and just becomes pitch black.
I cast light on on my helmet, and I'm just a big giant beacon for all of us.
Excellent. All right, so you can see around you, and you see that the Olympic pool size continues down and descending downward. Let me just scroll down real quick.
It is worth noting that 2 of us will have to like hold on to each other because I can only do feather fall on 5 people.
That's fine.
Jesus.
Who volunteers to be held?
I keep my arms out to the side.
Lucius volunteers to just start going down.
I hold Lucius tenderly.
Is that a euphemism?
Okay.
I think
Maybe.
it's double entendre.
Cat. So.
Wait. Oh, sure. I gave you back the kitten.
Oh, okay. Or you're holding the cat. Whatever.
Okay, so we keep falling till we eventually find the bottom.
Whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
Isilmay, Fleos, Dimitri, and Solbaya. you notice a light about a couple 100 feet below you. And I'm not saying like a very bright light. You notice almost like ghostly blue luminescence.
I immediately cut my light.
Okay, so Sobaya, you have a thing that lets you see in the dark, right? 120
I
feet?
do, yes.
All right, so you don't see anything because it's still, is it 60? It's 60 feet of dark vision, I think, right?
I forgot. Yeah, that sounds right.
That's
Okay.
just.
I mean, you can kind of still, you still make out these little orbs very, very far away. So, and they come closer and closer, and there's almost like a little bit of a shape you can begin to make out. And on that note, roll for initiative.
Roll for it.
Well then.
If you want me to add it into roll 20,
16. Whatever you want.
we can do that. Let me turn on initiative in here. What button is that? I forgot. This button?
Wait, we're also on roll 20? I thought we were using Twitch for the room.
Roll 20 is for us to have someplace I can arbitrarily draw D&D things.
Oh, okay, I see now.
I can add you in here, and you can tell me your value. It's no biggie.
What is the value of a man?
About $10.
Oh, okay, thank you.
If anybody needs me to add them, let me know. So, Fleos, I added you.
The concept of a man, or the
I said 23.
or the combined order.
Lucius, you said 23?
Correct.
I got a 20. I don't know why you gave me a 14.
I didn't give you anything. It was right here.
I got the same initiative when I rolled the second.
There we go.
2 different roll 20s.
Okay.
Nice.
Ragus,
Very nice.
we have you. Lucius, Solbat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who are we missing? Dimitri.
Dimitri rolled 22. It's good, guys. There's a lot of high rolls in there.
There's not.
Yay,
yeah,
us.
stat
Go team.
Hey, I need like
Yeah, but we
actual
don't know what
dice.
we're attacking yet.
Plus dexterity. Okay. I don't have a thing. So who's holding on to whom?
Good question.
I believe I'm being held on by someone.
My arms were held wide. So whoever's hanging on to me.
Temba, his arms wide.
Well, I mean, he said he was kind of trying to nudge me in, so I'm assuming I'm close to him. So I'll.
Yeah. I totally threw you in. So I imagine I would grab you. And then whoever wants to grab my other hand.
So I'm holding Lucius, and Dimitri is holding Ragus, and then we're all good.
Say something like this.
Sure.
What is that I just threw on there? I don't know. It's super fun now.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you can't see it because I'm not sharing it. You have to be in Roll20 or in Twitch to see it.
I'm in roll 20. I don't see anything.
I
Haven't
see
moved
shit.
you over. That's a good point.
I see my boat.
Hey. Oh, lordy.
Is it an aberration or
Ew.
It's an aberration.
recognize?
You know what? It is an aberration.
Okay.
Yay.
You know what that is? That's a yuck.
Apple.
No, it is not an aboleth. I don't have a proper thing for it. So immediately you see it,
Yep.
and it has these horrid jaws with these very sharp, thin teeth,
Oh, no.
and there are tentacles coming off of it that are glowing with a bioluminescence. And I'm calling it a moonbeam angler, but it looks almost like a bastardized anglerfish.
Oh. Well, it got us with his lights.
Terrifying.
All right, so top of the order. I have to do descending, right? Lucius.
Oh, wait.
What
At least for me, I only see 4 people in initiative now.
Yeah, I only see 4 people in initiative as well. Well, 3. One is a monster.
Well, I see everybody, so I can just call it out.
Okay.
Yeah, if you open Twitch, you can see it.
Roll 20 sometimes does stupid things.
Oh, yeah. I see it in Twitch. All right. I'm going to bail
Just
out of roll
sometimes?
20 because things were freezing.
Yeah, I'm very happy to just manage roll 20 if anybody wants. As long as if you're in Twitch, you should be able to see it.
Sounds good.
All right, so Lucius, you take top of order.
Bring it home.
How far away is it from me?
I mean, you're all pretty close. It's under, so it's under you. So we'll say that by the time you see it, like really see the form, it's about 100 feet underneath you.
100 feet. All right.
That seems right? Like you'd be able to see the form coming up at you. I think.
Yeah.
100 feet.
Yeah.
We're going with 100 feet.
Really not that far.
Especially if it's dark and we see the light.
Yeah,
Like,
the
you can
glowing.
see the candle, was it 3 miles away?
Yeah.
Yeah, so once you see the form really beginning to coalesce 100 feet.
I am going to. Shit.
You are?
You're gonna shit. Roll for
Yeah.
Roll for shit.
This
That'll be
always
entertaining.
happens.
All right. I'm going to. So who's holding me again? I'm sorry.
Aladdin.
I'm gonna just grab your hand, throw the other half of my whip, and just kind of bring my feet up to your chest and kick off, and head towards the thing. And I'm gonna ready an action. I'm gonna ready shatter.
So you're going to react with shatter if it closes the distance. If you get
Yeah,
too close.
60 feet is the thing.
Okay. How much?
Alright.
What's the fall speed of Featherfall, real quick, per round?
60 feet per round.
Okay, so you're gonna by the beginning of next round, you'll be within each other's reach. You'll be right on top of each other next round. That makes sense.
So when it gets close enough to me to cast shatter, I automatically cast shatter.
Yes.
I'm holding my.
It'll be. So how's that work if? So it'll. You know what? On its. At the end of this round, you'll have moved 60 feet. Beginning of the next round, and then it during the round will move 40. So yeah, you'll get your reaction before your turn, I think, right? Even though you're top.
Right,
order.
I'm holding shatter. So if it moves into range,
Yep.
I will cast shatter.
Yep, you're gonna be good. I think you'll get it on this round.
Okay.
Dimitri.
Okay. I am going to cast Guiding Bolt on it.
Excellent. I also appreciate the sound effects from M.
There, right?
Just gurgle, gurgle, gurgle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So math. I'm pretty sure I hit.
It's 100 feet, Steven.
Yeah, the range on Guiding Bolt is 120 feet, and I got Spell Sniper, so double
Nice.
that.
Oh, yeah.
So then 19 plus 8 is 27 to hit.
Yeah, you hit.
Dope. So 4d6 points
damn.
of radiant damage. 15 points of radiant damage, and it is lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. The next attack on it's got advantage.
Excellent.
Fun.
All right. So yeah, you fire that off. It begins to glow, and you see that it starts really beginning to swim towards you in response to it.
Heh, heh. Guys, we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Soldaya. Hey, your
All right,
boat.
I'm
You have a
good.
bow, and it works underwater.
It does, yeah, finally. I'm going to do 100th mark for a bonus action, and I'm going to fire 2 shots. They're advantaged because
It's a
my
glow.
ranger thingy.
It's also a
What?
glow. It's also glowing, and you get advantage on attacks against it.
Oh, okay. Well, I get double there. All right, so hang on. Gotta have my weapon here. All right. Hang on. So a 13 hit.
Does not.
All right, so I only hit one time with a 26. 26. 1d8. All right, so he takes 10, 18, 22 points of damage.
All right, yeah, you knock an arrow and let loose. You knock 2 arrows and let loose. The first one goes wide, just moves the trajectory from the water, and the second one buries itself in him and sticks in his, his
Caboose.
shark-like armored flesh. Eladin.
I'm going to whip up a nice little chaos bolt. That is a 18 to hit.
That hits.
For 11 cold damage.
11. All right, you fling off this chaos ball, and it's just energy all over the place, and then it kind of coalesces into this almost like chunk of ice that smashes into the side, spreading blue across its skin as it's frostbitten, and it keeps coming. Isilme.
Question: how's it gonna work if I want to throw daggers again? Like, is it disadvantage because I'm underwater? But like it's falling down, so I feel like gravity's helping.
I mean, let's say it's not disadvantage or anything because the weird spatial dynamics of the space.
Okay, so just one straight roll.
It'll actually just move through this water like nothing because of the weird gravitational forces.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna try and throw some daggers. First one would be a 22 to hit.
That hits.
All right, and nobody's close to it yet, right? So I'm not gonna get my sneak attack yet. Damn it. But that's
Wait, isn't it anytime you're advantaged against them, or no? Am I wrong?
But I'm not
Really?
advantaged, right?
You're
Oh, wait.
advantaged because it's a glow. I'm just
You
gonna
get
double
sneak
check.
attack because it's advantage.
Just double check.
It's a 10.
Well,
The
the
next attack would have advantage.
yeah, the
which already
very
happened.
next
Oh,
attack. Once
Hang on.
another
Do
attack
you get
hits,
sneak
then
attack
it stops
automatically
glowing.
when you're advantage? Because I get
If
extra
you're
damage.
advantaged, you have it. Yeah. One creature
Alright,
you
so
hit
I-
with an attack if you have an advantage on the attack roll.
All right, then I get an extra D6 on there. Let me add that on quickly.
You're saying you're advantaged, Dimitri. Sorry, Joe. You were saying
Yeah.
you're advantaged immediately, right? Or is it next round?
So the very next attack
The very
is
next.
at advantage.
Only the next
like
attack.
so it's only the next attack. So as soon as if somebody's got multiple attacks, only the first attack that hits is at advantage.
Doesn't matter. All my attacks are advantage until it gets its turn.
So it was
As a ranger
so it
attack.
was Solbaya that got it, and Solbayas are all advantaged. So then Isilme.
Yeah,
won't
so
get
as soon as Solbaya hits, it stops glowing. Then it
Got it.
stops being at advantage.
All right.
Okay.
So
It takes another 6 points.
moral of the story is it in addition had an additional 6 points of damage. Isilme, it's no longer glowing.
Damn it, my sneak attack's so much better.
I know.
Hey, yours is like a fireball.
So yeah, it's just gonna be 5 points of damage with the first dagger.
Okay.
And then I'll do the same thing, so I get 2. And then that's 14 plus 6, so that's a 20 to hit.
Hits.
And the second one is going to be 4 plus 3, 7. So 12 points of damage total.
Wow. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. You basically drop these like bombs. First one hits into it and doesn't really seem to do that much damage. The second one, hits in and there's a chunk of flesh that kind of blows away and blood begins to fill the water. Not that you can see it so much. It just tinges the light a little bit red.
Good depth charge.
All right.
That's my turn.
Wait, didn't we already have Eladin? Why is Eladin in here twice?
Don't worry about it.
If you want me to.
All right, Ragus.
Yeah, so you said we're 100 feet, so
100
I
feet.
can't really throw anything that far. Anything I can do to get 10 feet closer?
No, you can't control
Oh.
your descent.
Okay, well then in that case, I am just going to prepare a chromatic orb at level 3 to throw 10 feet from now. So as soon as I'm 90 feet away, I'm going to throw it.
So check this out. So it closes the distance and moves 40 feet towards you.
Okay.
Okay. So
do
I
I
will let Lucius. Is that in range for you?
Is it 60 feet?
Yeah, it's 60 feet away.
All right, yeah, it's
All right,
in
so
range.
do your reaction.
So it needs to make a Constitution saving throw. DC is 15.
Excellent. It saves.
So it takes 8 points of thunder damage.
Yeah, so you just kind of bust out. Do you do this with your whip, right?
Yeah, like my whip
You just kind of
slowly
Thwack the whip.
cracks across. Yeah.
Oh no, it's not slow because the physics of this is all absurd. So it's like mercury almost. You're like moving through mercury. It cracks and sends a bolt of just that pure sound, which you see it kind of hit into it, and its muscle like gelatinously vibrates, and there's chunks of flesh that kind of burst open, and a little bit of blood enters the water. All right, Ragus, your reaction.
I throw my chromatic orb. I did a 17 to hit.
That just hits.
That just hits? Okay. Well, then it gets 48. It gets let's go with. Does it look like it might have poison? This creature?
Like it could poison somebody?
No, like it could. Does it look poisonous to me?
Or venomous?
Trying to figure out what kind of damage to throw it.
You can't really say. Your experience with these types of creatures is extremely limited.
Okay. Well then, just to be safe, it'll be acid damage. And let's see how much. 5 plus 4, 9, 11, 12.
12 points of damage, you said?
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah, so you fire it off and it smashes into the side of it. What type of damage did you say it was this time?
Acid.
Acid, and acid spreads across it and eats away at its armored side and just kind of exposes pink flesh beneath. And it's the creature's turn. Everybody, let me see what you have to do. Make a wisdom save.
Wisdom star.
It is...
Straight up wisdom, right?
Yeah.
You.
Is it everyone? Or just Fred?
Everyone.
Okay.
That's a 13 for me.
Yeesh. A 9.
We're not very wise in this group, huh?
By the way, Andrew, I can see
I
what you're
am
looking
very
up.
wise. I
This
just
is
rolled
charm?
real
You
well.
can see it where? In which screen?
It went from the roll 22 Enchanter's Gaze or whatever you were like Googling.
Oh, that's weird, because... Did it show up? Wait, where did I look it up? I don't even know which screen I looked up. So if I type in this 5e... Did I look it up on the wrong screen? That's probably why. I looked it up on the Roll20 screen. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking to see if Hypnotize is classified as Charm. I don't think it is, though. Okay, did anyone... What were these? So, Dimitri, what'd you get?
13.
Eladin,
22.
you're good. Fleos,
13.
It's
Unless Hypnotic Gaze is Charm, which I'm looking up.
yeah, look it up for me. I don't think it is. Isilme,
9 and same as Fleos unless we have advantage.
all right. Lucius,
3, and unless it's same thing with Fleos.
cool. So
All right.
18.
Feels
18.
really-
Ragus,
11.
all right. What'd you find about the gaze?
Hold on. The spell list that I have access to gave me only Hypnotic Pattern, which is not what
It
we're
doesn't.
using.
It's not a specific spell. It's just it like causes.
I know it's the
specific
monster
hypnosis.
special ability.
Let me see if
I'm very friendly to gaze.
hypnosis.
So hold on, I'm looking it up on Sage Advice.
Thank
It's
you.
just taking a little bit for Sage Advice to load. So the question says Hypnotic Gaze. Can a creature charmed by Hypnotic Gaze still talk? But then Jeremy Crawford doesn't mention.
If it is charm or not, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a charm to me.
Charm person versus hypnotism.
I mean, it's early enough at Seattle. Someone with Twitter send them a message.
Charm.
What?
What's that?
Hypnotic gaze is a charm, I think.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with it's a charm because it's.
Yeah.
Everyone's phrasing it like charmed by.
Yes, you can see or
Yeah.
hear you must make a wisdom save or be charmed by you until your next turn.
Oh, I'm going
There
with
you go.
I'm going with its charm. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody who is resistant to charms, go ahead and do it. Such.
Oh my better.
how do we know if
So-
It's racial. Isilme,
21.
Drone, you're good. Fleos, so you're good. Fleos,
22.
you're good also. And was anyone else? Was it Lucius?
Lucius.
Yeah, with the penalty, it's 17.
You're not good. Okay, so if I said you're good, so anyone who had an 18 or over, you're good.
Okay.
Everybody else, you have become hypnotized. The lights are moving in such a hypnotic pattern that you just you can't follow. You just can't follow. And basically, maybe by the time reactions, you have no actions, no reactions, and no bonus actions. You must make a direct path to the angler.
Oh.
Um,
Well, you're getting sneak attack, Emily.
Everybody who saved, you're immune for 24 hours, so that's also good news. And that was not its action. That was just because it closed distance. with all of
Be
you.
right back.
Yep.
So you know,
it's close
10:30
to
here.
40 feet. Multi-attack tentacle, but it can't really reach any of you yet. So we'll say it uses the rest of its movement. Yeah, it uses the rest of its movement to finish the distance. Fleos.
Alrighty. Well, I think we know how this goes. So,
Shark.
hold on just a moment. I want to make sure I grab this right. Yep. So, I burble out because we've decided that we're burbling here. I burble out a few, words sort of beneath my breath and make some strange gestures, and 4 reef sharks appear surrounding whatever the fuck this thing is with its fancy dancy fucking light show. And do you want me to roll initiative for them or just run them?
They'll go on your turn. It's much simpler.
Okay. All right. So pack tactics for them. Oh, let me go back to the page with the reef shark stat block because that would be helpful. Ooh,
Baby shark.
on the first one.
Bad that I
Hits.
got Bad Fish by Sublime stuck in my head now.
Okay, so Economy gets a nat 20.
I love the names. Let's do it.
Ooh. Second misses, so Mira does not hit. 17.
17 hits.
17 hits.
Do you have different names for each creature as well, or like do you keep the same names for your?
They're different names for the different creatures. So the Bloodhawks had completely different names.
Great. I love your dedication.
And then 20.
Shouldn't name it. Let's break your heart.
23 for Verth.
That hits.
All right.
Yeah, you don't want to get attached.
Yeah.
No, I know that they're Fey creatures and they go back to the Feywild, so it doesn't matter if I get attached.
Live in a Fey farm.
Yourself, at least.
They literally go back to a better place when they die.
I don't know. I name my lobsters before I eat them.
It tastes more delicious that way.
They do.
All right.
Give me some damage.
Hold on. I'm rolling. 9. 9. Oh, triple sevens.
9s. Wow.
Going to Vegas. Okay. Yeah. So
Do some math.
27 damage from.
Whew. Your pack basically unleashes on the angler and begins tearing chunks of it away. One of its tentacles is torn off. Some of the gills have been completely messed up, and these are very weird looking gills. They almost have a luminescence to them as well, as if they're processing this unusual water in a certain way. And it looks pretty damn beat up at this point. Chunks are missing from it. One of its eyes is just ripped right out. Its jaw begins to hang slightly off, and it doesn't look like it's doing very well.
Yeah. Does it have salamander gills where they're outside or?
Yeah, but they're very frail and transparent looking.
Yeah. That's all for me because I can't control my movement, so I just continue plummeting towards this thing.
All right, Lucius, who's not there at the moment.
Don't worry, Mara. Good job distracting it so the others can get bites.
All right,
I'm here.
It's your turn.
I'm here.
It is your turn, sir.
So I'm swimming towards this thing.
The distance is closed.
Like a joke.
You're right on top of it at this point.
Okay.
It is swimming with you is actually more accurate.
I don't particularly like this.
It's literally swimming with sharks. Anyway.
I usually am the one doing the charming. So I'm going to cast Thunder Wave.
Excellent.
It needs to make a Constitution saving throw, but I'm going to cast Thunder Wave at 3rd level.
It has a natural 20 on its save.
All right, so it's going to take half the damage.
Twice the time.
15, half of 15.
All right, so 7.
7.
All right, yeah. You send off this wave into its side, rippling across its flesh, blowing chunks of it away, chumming the waters, and it's just hanging on.
I can't swim away from it, so that's the end of my turn.
All right, Dimitri.
Do I get a chance to save at the end or no?
Oh, sorry, you're still. Wait, are you charmed?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you can't attack.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
what I was gonna ask.
No, sorry, I said you can't take any actions. You can't.
Yeah,
you
you-
don't, you don't
I
get
heard
any
bonus
actions,
actions, I'm
reactions, or
sorry.
bonuses.
Oh, okay.
So let me undo that damage.
Sure.
Save after your...
Rip, rip, rip.
Oh, yeah.
But you do get to attempt another save.
Wisdom?
Yes. Wait, is that what I said? Yes. Let me see.
Yes.
Da-da-da-da. Yeah, wisdom. Sorry, I'm kind of
That's a
flat.
0 with modifiers.
Yeah, you have advantage.
Oh, okay.
Because you're half elf.
That's a 17 with modifiers.
You
Better.
still don't make it. You're still
Yeah.
hypnotized. All right, Dimitri,
I'm also charmed, so I
make
have
your
to
save.
God, frack, bracket, bracket.
DM question while he's doing this. Did the
11.
purple come with us?
I'm sorry, what? What was the question?
Did the furball come with us?
Yes. Melagul is with you. He's just not attacking yet. You can see he's actually sitting there. Melagul is sitting there. I just didn't add him to the order. He's not attacking.
Oh,
He's not trying to heal us or anything? Or
No.
fix-
Mm-mm.
He's not a fighter. He's a lover.
As furbolgs do.
All right.
Anywho, I do not make the save.
You do not make the save.
No.
Sylvia.
Or I tell it I want a knighthood, and I fire 2 more arrows at it. Alright. And I got did the 14 hit?
No.
Then I don't get my knighthood.
All right, you fire off 2 arrows at point blank range, and they just bounce off of its armored flesh.
Oh wait a minute. I get sneak attack though, because I don't get that doesn't help me. It doesn't give me an advantage.
Eladin.
All right, I'm gonna fire off a ray of frost.
That's cold.
Stay frosty.
It's not. It's gonna miss.
Is that 13 to hit? Yeah, no dice.
Eladin, I don't know how
I
you're
feel
with.
like if you are going to make the puns, you need to talk like Arnold.
What did you say, Cleos?
Other Corey, I don't know how wizard nonsense works. Do you get advantage on your wizard attacks?
No.
Okay. Well,
All right.
everyone else does because there are sharks.
Yeah, so I was
Because
gonna ask.
we're saying it's swarmed enough. It's swarmed
What?
enough that you get advantage.
So I do get an advantage.
Well, you're underwater using a bow, so you would have disadvantage.
His
No.
bow,
No,
his
no.
bow's magical and allows him to use it underwater.
Oh, so then you could have advantage.
So I did have advantage then.
So you
Yes?
want to?
Yeah, roll again.
No, I got
Well-
24 and 23. Then I can see my rolls.
Well, you wouldn't have advantage, but you have an ally within 5 feet. So
No,
if you hit, you get
advantage
sneak.
because we're saying it is flanked by the sharks.
But if he's using a bow, he's not in melee, so he shouldn't have flanking.
That is a fair point.
Oh, I thought it was a
It's-
rogue thing.
No.
If
That's-
he hits and there's a creature within
Yes.
5 feet, he gets sneak
That.
attack.
Right.
But he
Yeah.
does not get advantage because he's not flanking
He's not
it.
physically threatening it. Is that what we're thinking?
Okay.
Yeah, so like the
Flanking
flanking
is for
only
physical
happens
attack.
for melee, not for ranged attacks.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not sure why that makes sense, but okay.
Unless you're ruling something to say like he's so surrounded that all attacks get advantage.
No. I'm a big fan of how shooting at point blank without point blank gives you disadvantage personally, but I don't add that in because I think it makes ranged attack too complex.
Well, I didn't know I was point blank. I would have used the melee otherwise.
Well, we could use. Okay, let's not
I can't change it now, it's
history.
too late.
It's fine how it is. It's
Yeah.
Okay, so my turn. I am So now at this point, I can be in melee range and position myself across from a shark, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I will use my small sword and then my rapier after that. So first attack with advantage. Oof. There's a 21 to hit
It's
with the small sword. It's a 1d8. This one. So that's 4 plus 3, so 7 plus. This time I'll get the sneak attack. That's 15 plus 2, 17 plus 4, 21 total with the first small sword attack.
let me math real quick. Wait, is that right? That is right. Holy cow! All right. So that was with your small sword.
Yes, the fiery one.
So to kind of imagine this, everybody's falling through this channel in the ground, and it's covered in stonework all around it. Very beautiful stonework because every tile is perfect because it's all dwarven, clearly laden by dwarven hands, and there's this just cloud of activity as you're attacking this moonbeam angler, and the sharks are lunging in and arrows are flying off, and Isilme just swims in elegantly. She has the small sword in one hand, the rapier in the other. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, and she just dives in with that small sword and lunges forward with perfect form, burying the small sword in the side of the angler's skull and then flicking it out, severing it in half. And then as she flicks it out, brings it back down and chops the head off of the angler, filling the water with blood and pieces of meat, organs just exploding out the side, and the sharks just begin ripping the corpse to shreds, tearing chunks out of it and eating hungrily.
She can have my knighthood.
So are we uncharmed in that case?
Yes.
Do I
The
get
effects
to?
of the spell end with the death of the creature.
Can I just hack at it?
Yes, you can of course just hack with it. It's falling. It's you're actually falling slower than it is, so it just rapidly moves out of the way. We never addressed the fact that the sharks are not featherfall, but I'm gonna go with it's fine. It's totally good. All right. So as you're continuing to descend past, the body moves past you. Isilme and let me pull up stats real quick. Isilme and Dimitri and Fleos, you can make out in the distance a shining object, and it looks like
Below us or in
below you, and
Okay.
you can make it out about 100 feet below you, and it looks like a bulkhead door, just kind of spiraling in space.
I'm going to point it out to everyone else just to make sure that everyone sees it.
That is strange.
So, there, below us, there's a door of some sort. So, we should probably try to not smash into it.
Yes.
The door they were talking about in the diary.
I hope so.
Melagul begins kind of like attempting to position himself so that he'll be able to get towards the door, and you can see on his face like there's slight fear.
Yeah, I started doing the same.
You remember reading that you have to do this very quickly.
Yeah, we have about 6 seconds till you hit this door. Just kind of saying.
Okay. So I guess we all just kind of position ourselves to go through it.
Yeah, it's not open.
No Melagul.
It's not open.
Cool.
I
It's not
Magic blast it open.
Melagul like grabs hold of Dimitri, like grabs your hand, and then kind of like holds out his hand to the to somebody else.
And I'm like, so what exactly are we getting ourselves into right now?
I don't know, but I'm not very excited for where this is going. And he's holding your hand really tight. He's like, everybody, take hands.
DM question.
Okay, well, I would appreciate some educated speculation right now.
I think if we don't get this door, we're going to go straight down into the abyss. So let's grab the door for now.
I cast knock.
Okay.
You cast knock. The door flings open.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sweet, you're the only one with it.
I was waiting for everybody to stop talking.
Oh.
All right, is anyone else taking hands? No?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I'll grab who.
Everybody just manages to grab hands, and I want one advantaged dexterity save to rule the entire party, and I will let the party choose who rolls it.
Who has the highest dex?
Dex, I got +3.
Total party wipe.
I have 4. This me, I think it's 5, right?
Wait, 6?
Six
You
on my
6 already?
It's actually pretty low. I still haven't upped my dex as an ability score improvement, so it should be a lot higher. But fine.
As I roll by, I'll just yell,
All right, you said advantage.
Captain, get this. I'm giving you inspiration.
I'll save the inspiration because hopefully I don't need it. This is a 22.
You
Dex.
manage to grab the side of this spinning porthole. And so we're all chained together, right?
Yep.
All together.
Attached.
All right, so I'm not going to make you do any strength checks to see if you all hold together. We'll say you hold together, and Islame, you hoist yourself through the porthole, and everybody kind of falls through as a chain.
Sure.
As you go through it, it's almost like you burst out of the water, and the porthole's like on the side of the wall, and you burst out onto the floor. No water pours out, and with the last person entering, the door literally dematerializes. It just vanishes, not in a puff of smoke, nothing. The door actually shuts behind you, and then is gone in a flash. No light, just like instantaneously.
Where did that pretty light go?
The sharks don't follow through. Yeah. Fleos lets his sharks go back to their wonderful world.
The farm.
Oh, did somebody drop and then rejoin?
No, Joe dropped his phone. Apparently, was overheating.
All right. Well, the order is now all messed up on Hangouts.
Retro.
Retro.
While we're fixing that, I decided this will be my Higsby hat. I don't know if you can.
Yes.
Oh God.
Can I give a player inspiration? I don't know how that works.
Sure, you can.
Yeah, of course.
Why not? Why not?
So next time I do my whole flourish, I have a hat to do it.
Is Joe gonna join us again?
I don't know.
If his phone's over
I
here.
could text him.
He was saying
that's not gonna help, yeah.
He's
Well, it's almost 11 o'clock, guys.
He's chatting on roll 20.
We still have 11 minutes. There's a lot we can do in 11 minutes.
Not this party.
We did okay. We investigated a room, jumped down a magic hole, killed
Caught
an
a giant
anglerfish.
anglerfish.
And
We've been on 11 minutes.
All right, I know all the names are messed up, but we'll do this real quick. So the door dematerializes, and you are now in a perfectly circular room, surrounded by bookcases. The room is almost divided into two sections. One has this very gentle red illumination. All of the wood has this red of the shelves has this red tinge to it. All the books are bound in red leather, and there are very comfy looking red velvet chairs. The other section, which is a little bit smaller than the red section, has blue light, and there are blue wooden shelves, blue bound books, blue velvet chairs to sit in, and it looks extremely cozy. If you had a coffee, you would be sitting there right now opening up a tome, but you don't, and there are no doors anywhere. There's a gentle throbbing sound in the room, like it has this almost womb-like sound going on. This womb, 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 womb.
So
Have I ever been here?
No, never.
I got my act ready.
that thing you read basically said that the library is an organism,
Yeah.
right? So is this room one of the organs?
I mean, the thing Sithi said was that this is the heart.
Red and blue.
That makes sense.
Veins
Oh,
don't-
wait. Yeah, red and blue. That's like when you scan a heart. That's the
Yep.
arteries and the veins, and the direction of
Right.
the blood is red and
You
blue.
know that as characters?
Yeah, I was about to say maybe metagaming. maybe Dimitri, who's of course not here, would have the most knowledge of this, and possibly
I've cut open
Elder.
a few hearts.
That's true. We've killed enough people to probably know a decent amount of anatomy.
I'm gonna take one of the many daggers that I have. I think this would be number 9, and I'm just gonna like loft it over into like the red love seat.
Oh God.
Okay, just like
Roll for
gently,
initiative.
gently.
Yeah, like not trying to damage the seat, but just kind of
Got
like
it.
I'm gonna throw something into the room, see what happens.
I mean, you're in the room, but yeah, it lands cushiony,
Cushiony.
on a cushion, no less. No reaction. The room doesn't attack you. I
I turn up
laugh,
the book.
but it.
Guys, you want to go with the grain or against the grain? Right, I start walking towards the red section. So there are like bookcases and stuff with red books and all that, right?
Yes, and it's again in that wizard's wizard's encrypted notation.
I pick one up and see if there's any reaction.
There's no reaction.
I grab one of the blue books. What if we swap them?
Let's do it. Let's make it angry.
I love this. This is great. Yeah, you move one from one space to the next, and the book just like almost as you're going past that middle point shifts in color.
Do I change in color when I move?
Traitor.
No, I mean, there's glow upon you, but you yourself do not change color.
Good.
Are there any ventricles?
Are there any ventricles? I don't know. I'm not gonna. I'll let you figure this out.
Good.
Tell me what you do. You've been thrust upon an alien world.
How high is the?
I mean, I always hear books and chairs and stuff. I see if there's anything else. Is there how far does the room go? Are there any doors?
It's not a very big room. It's about 20 feet by 20 feet. There are no doors.
doors.
It's entirely circular. The
Fire
roof,
circular. I said the corner.
the roof is not very high. It's probably 12 feet tall total.
How high is like a stack?
It goes floor to ceiling.
I'm gonna scale a stack just to see like what I can see from a bird's eye view.
You see the rest of the room just like you would if you didn't scale it.
Well, go.
There's nothing in the middle of the room obscuring your vision. It is a circular room. You could literally stand in the center and look around and see everything.
Okay, I go in the middle and look around and see everything.
Yes, you see everything. It is good.
Any doors?
No doors. No doors. For the 322nd time, there are no
Right.
doors. It is just encased in bookcases everywhere you can see. There's not the door you came in, and there's no door out.
Do the bookcases move?
No. They are attached to the walls.
Are there any writings on the walls? Any stonework?
There are books on the walls.
I take one of my spell books because I think I have like 3 of them now, and I put it on the red shelf.
It doesn't take on the color. It just looks like your regular book.
Interesting.
Hmm.
And the same thing if I put it on the blue shelf.
What's written in the books?
I take
You can't
one
read
of
it.
the
Only
books-
only a wizard of the School of Hidden Letters can read it.
I take one of the books off of one of the shelves. I take the book over to the blue shelf and place it there.
I quick sorted.
It to the red shelf and I place it there.
So as I said, once it passes the middle of the room, it changes colors
Right.
to the appropriate section.
If I take a book and I just take a random book, flip to a random page on the red side of the room, read the page, and then move to the blue side of the room and read the page, does the text change?
First off, it is some of the worst poetry you've ever read in your entire life. It is what I would dub wizard's poetry. Your
Fair.
skin
That's the horror,
is
right?
like bile, and your eyes are like jades used in wonderful magical quests. I once loved a 3-legged woman and love you best. And it's terrible poetry, but it's
And
clearly
I don't-
all
Who's
it's clearly all love poetry, and moving it from one space to the next does not make it any better.
and it doesn't change at all.
No, not at all.
Did Eldon write this poetry?
I'll investigate, see if any book looks like it's out of place or looks like it might have some contraption
Give me a
attached to it.
dice. Give me a roll of investigation.
I'm gonna check for tracks after he's done with that.
Go ahead. Roll simultaneously for the checking of traps.
I just did 13.
Tracks.
13. You see that there are a lot of books, and you can't really discern them because they're written in a language you don't understand. But looking there are you. Hey, are we all back in order? We are. That's great. Looking at it, you see that there are like little statues here or there, little knickknacks and things of that nature, but nothing discernible to you or in particular. Soulbaya, what'd you get for checking for traps?
Tracks 20.
Tracks. It looks like this room has never had a foot set in it.
Okay.
Dimitri, you missed a whole bunch. But catching you up, we're in a room that has red light and blue light. On the red section are red books and red cushioned chairs. Blue side, blue books, blue cushioned chairs. Moving one book from one side to the other changes the color of it, but not necessarily the nature, although I don't know if Eladin shared that with the group.
Wait, say that again?
Did you share the fact that none of the text changed?
Poetry didn't change.
Hey, Eladin, what's in these books? Do they all have similar content?
Holy shit!
I
Nice
start
snapback.
ripping books off the walls and
Is it all
reading-
terrible love poetry?
Quickly pulling them off the walls, you notice that most of the books are poetry. There are books on purpose, transcendentalism, existentialism. There are books on the meaning of life and joy. There are books on the contemplation of death and agony.
It's a horror.
It's all things to do with love and the heart.
Eladin, opening one of the books, it's like
Mhm.
opening one of the books, because you're kind of like flipping through these. Opening through one of them, immediately a gemstone falls out and clatters on your feet. And it's a crystal clear gemstone.
I pick it up.
Yeah, it's about the size of a fist. Like, kind of the size of a human heart.
Literally
I
just falls
ate
to his
with
lap.
interest.
It was just like in a book.
It was just in a book. Like, the book had like a carve out. And as it comes out and falls out, the carved in section just kind of like fills in. And it's a book of poetry.
And they say that books are worthless.
All right. Well, if I see that, I'm going to start grabbing random books and opening them and see if something else comes out. So I'm randomly opening books and just tossing them on the floor as
All
I'm
right,
done.
I think the dwarf ravaging the library is probably where we will stop for the night.
Final
And start at the beginning.
It's both a middle, a beginning, and an end, I believe. All right, so thank you for playing, and we will pick up next week at our regularly scheduled time. All right, good night.
All right.
Good night, guys.
Pattinson.